excited to be joined today by Trey Griggs, Vice President of Lean Sales, a division of Lean Staffing Solutions. How are you doing, Trey?
Doing great. Thanks for having me on, Andy.
Thanks for joining me. You know, I remember seeing you for the first time about 10 months ago on a FreightWaves show, and it looked like you were having a good time. So how did you guys get connected? How did you connect with FreightWaves?
The first time that I really started to get connected with FreightWaves was a little over a year ago at their FreightWaves Live event in Chicago. I was starting to do some videos on LinkedIn, sharing some messages, some encouragement, some coaching, just different things I've learned and wanted to pass on. And something worked out where I was able to actually be on What the Truck at FreightWaves Live and got to know Dooner and those guys pretty well. And since that time, you know, just as things come up, as their needs arrive, they have opportunities. A lot of times I'll jump on and play a song or talk about what we're doing, at Lean Staffing Solutions, or just talk about the industry in general. So it's been a great time with those guys. They're a lot of fun.
Awesome. You know, with this show, I like to kind of get into background stories, I just wanted to ask you, what's a couple of things or two or three things people probably don't know about you that they might be surprised to learn about you?
So a couple of things. I mean, on a serious note, I'm somebody who's experienced a lot of success, which has been great. But what a lot of people don't know about me is that I've struggled with mental health for many years, especially with self-esteem and confidence. And it has a lot to do with the wiring of my brain. You know, when we're kids, we get wired in our brains just based on the influences that are given to us by our parents, and we don't have much of a say in that. So I've spent a lot of time working on that, and it's been great to become self-aware of that and move in a positive direction. And counseling was a huge part of that. So I encourage people to do that. But that's one thing people probably would never guess about me, just based upon my ability to talk and confidently go up to anybody and start a conversation. The other things that people probably wouldn't know about me is that I love home design, home remodeling. We've flipped about 7 houses, and I used to have a company that did that on the side. And it's just the way that my brain works. Whenever I get into a home, I'm always seeing how I could change it or make it a little bit better. And then the last thing that most people probably don't know about me is that I have a huge goal, it's almost an impossible goal, but that's why I love it. And that is, I'm going to play in a PGA Tour sanctioned tournament before I die, whether it's on the big tour or on a mini tour somewhere. I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I'm putting together a game plan to make that happen. And I'm hoping to see that come true one day.
Yeah, golf's a difficult game. That takes a lot of practice.
The hardest sport I've ever had to learn. But it's also the most rewarding, I think, because of that. You know, being able to figure out and work through it and then be able to play well is truly a lot of fun.
Right. Absolutely. It is fun. Just to get out there in the trees and the grass and hit balls around is kind of fun.
That doesn't hurt either. The scenery is pretty good. That's for sure.
Yeah. And you also see the guitar in your background right there. You play some guitar, right? I
try to. Yeah. I'm not a formally educated guitar player. I was 14 at a Christian camp around a campfire. And this guy was playing guitar, and I just thought at the time it was like the coolest thing. So I came home, told my mom I want a guitar. So she bought me a pretty cheap one. You know, the kind that when you play it, like hurts your fingers because the strings are so far away from the neck. But I started on that and started to learn, chords and how to play, how to strum. And I love to sing. And so I guess it's about 30 years now that I've been trying to play guitar. And I love to pick it up and play it up. I play a lot in church and lead worship. Like to learn a lot of country songs. I like to write some of my own songs, especially like for What the Truck. I write a song almost every time I go on there. So it's a lot of fun.
Absolutely. That is really cool. So what caused you then to start playing guitar? When did you first pick it up? And do you have much time to jam these days or?
Yeah, it's a great question. I mean, being on that campfire was really neat. And I've been somebody who is historically been a pretty fast learner. So I just started hanging out with people that knew how to play, and they would teach me how to play chords. And that's kind of my education. Nowadays, I don't get to jam as much as I would like. I mean, life and responsibilities make it difficult. But I do play often at church. I still lead worship at church from time to time. I'll fill in for a worship leader or play along with. And so probably twice a month I do that. And then a lot of times my daughters love music. They love to sing and play piano. So a lot of times I'll just grab it and we'll try to play some songs together while they're playing and singing. So I do get to jam a little bit, but not nearly as much as I would like to.
Very cool. Well, I've done a couple of church concerts and fundraisers playing the keyboard, but I don't get to play nearly as much as I'd like either.
That's what happens when you grow up.
Yeah, exactly. Grow up and get busy. So what are you working on these days? What's new with you?
Yeah, I mean, the thing that I'm I'm always working on is personal growth. And I like to talk about that because not only do I want to hold myself accountable and continue working on different areas of my life, but I want to encourage other people to do that as well. And like right now, what I'm really focused on is discipline. I've been somebody who's been blessed to be able to get through life on talent alone for a long time. And it's been good, but it also kind of makes you a little lazy in terms of working hard. And so I'm trying to shift my mindset to say, yes, I do have some talent, but if I'm really going to go somewhere, I need to have discipline and work harder. And I love Tim Tebow's quote. He says that hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard. And truly in his life, he was a good athlete, but nobody would say he was the best athlete, but he certainly outworked everybody. And that's why he was able to make it pretty far, probably a lot farther than people thought that he would go. And so I try to keep that in mind, that talent has taken me a long ways in life, and that's been good. But if I don't work hard, then somebody's going to beat me just because they're working harder. And so having that discipline is something I'm working on. On a fun note, something that I'm very excited about is I'm starting to podcast as well. As you may know, I have a Friday show with people in logistics called Word on the Street. And it's just been something that's grown. It's been a tremendous community, incredible people that I've met through that. And we're gonna take that live in 2021 and make it more of a podcast type of a show as opposed to just a Zoom call as it's been so far. So very excited about that. I'm also going to be launching another podcast for Lean Staffing Solutions called Bathrooms and Bunkers. And it's a podcast committed to telling the stories of excellence of amazing people around the globe. And so that's not going to be transportation focused. That's just going to be for everybody. Very excited about that. Looking forward to doing that. But I have so much to learn. So right now I'm in the learning phase of how to podcast and what that looks like to really make it a truly special, memorable podcast.
Well, I'm excited to learn about your podcast. Actually, just learning that now, that's really cool. I've been able to join your Zoom call a few times, but I'm looking forward to seeing that for sure. What's the best way for people to connect with you?
Well, the easiest way is just to send me an email, and that's trey@leanstaffing.com, trey@leanstaffing.com, or anytime give me a call. I'm an extrovert, so I love to talk to people. So 636-279-0125. And they can learn about Lean Staffing Solutions at leanstaffingsolutions.com and all the exciting things that we have going on, a lot of the new things that are coming out, which is just incredibly exciting for our customers and for our future customers.
Very good. Well, I certainly appreciate you joining me today, Trey. It's always good talking with you. Congratulations on all the things you're working on and doing, and we'll be in touch, I'm sure.